Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us on our webinar today. We're delighted you could all join us. We're so excited to talk to Saskatchewan companies about websites, about reaching export markets, about going outside the province and growing your sales and businesses. So just while the last of you are logging on, I think we'll do some quick introductions, as we're going to talk today about global business growth for Saskatchewan companies, using websites, online marketing, e-commerce, all of that. So, by the way, this is your chance to ask questions. We know time is precious. We were very pleased that you took the time today to be with us. So, use that time, drop questions into the chat box, question box, and we will be delighted to answer anything. And if I don't get time for it today, we'll send you an email response in due course. So today, we are absolutely delighted to be here with Katie Hunter. Most of you probably already know, the trade specialist for the Saskatchewan Trade and Export Partnership, a really vital resource for all Saskatchewan companies. And Katie brings with her just a huge tons of expertise in exporting markets and international markets, in helping companies to grow. So really a fantastic resource for you all. I'm also joined today by Ava. Ava Mitzi is our Business Development Manager for Canada. Ava's large amounts of resources and help for companies, a specialist in online production, online marketing, growing, helping companies grow their sales, and has a tremendous can-do attitude, which hopefully you'll be able to take advantage of. Me, myself, my name is Susanna. I'm Chief Content Officer at IBT Online. And as I said, I'm really delighted to be here with you all. A quick word just on IBT Online, who we are as a company. So that's our website. There's ibt.onl, very sort of trendy. IBT stands for International Business and Trade. So that's what we do, and we do it online. So everything we do is providing online tools, online strategies to help companies grow their business. And we do a lot of that internationally. I have a U.S. flag on this website, on this screenshot of our website. We are a U.S. company, but we are also a Canadian company, registered in Canada, and have a good deal of experience with Canadian exporters and building out their websites for them. We've been around for quite a long time. We've been around since over 20 years. And as I said, we're 100% focused on websites and online marketing. We've also developed something called the Online Global Programs, which are available in many US states, all the yellow ones that are colored in, as well as quite a few of the provinces in Canada. And these are really designed for small to mid-cap companies to get them the right online tools, the right strategies to grow their business internationally. And we'll be talking a bit more about that and a bit more about these online tools and strategies for you all. So jumping right in, we've packed our time today as much as we could with a lot of information and practical help as well. It is, however, a big subject. So, as I said, put questions in the chat box. You will be getting a recording of the webinar afterwards, probably tomorrow or Friday at the very latest. And we're here to help, basically. So I'm going to start actually by asking Katie just to talk us through a little bit the Saskatchewan Trade and Export Partnership and some of the resources that they offer. And then we're going to talk about sort of why, the why we believe Saskatchewan exporters can benefit and then why they need online business development tools, why you guys really could benefit from it. And then how do you, how do you go about doing this? What are the strategies? And there's basically, let's simplify it. There's basically two, your website and online marketing. And then we're going to talk a little bit about sort of the return on investment and the strategies and some of the solutions that we found that other companies have taken and that are available and that have like a really proven track record. So some really good, I think, practical tips for you all as well. And then we've got some time at the end just for questions and questions and some takeaways and any kind of discussion that you want to have. Students like that. So with that, I'd love to pass over to Katie to talk about the Saskatchewan Trade and Export Partnership. Katie.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you, Susanna and Ava, for the welcome, and thanks to everyone online joining us today. So yeah, just about Saskatchewan Trade and Export Partnership, for those who aren't familiar, but we are the official trade promotion agency for the province of Saskatchewan. We provide export services to support Saskatchewan exporters to connect with international businesses and international markets. STEP members are Saskatchewan-based companies offering an exportable product or service, and our membership includes small, medium, and large companies from 1 employee to thousands, with all of them sharing the same goal of increasing their export sales. Our website is sasktrade.com, so this is a good snapshot of all the resources that we can provide. And on to the next slide. So some of our services include providing export market guidance to our members from different sectors across the province. We arrange incoming and outgoing trade missions and delegations to and from the province. And we provide customized market intelligence reports for our exporters. We service all international markets, with the US being one of our main export partners. And other important markets include Asia, Mexico and South America, and the Middle East. So we're here to support you on your exporting journey. So if you're a Saskatchewan-based company, please don't hesitate to reach out and discuss how you can benefit from our services and how STEP can support you on with your exports, whether it be to established markets or just new to exporting outside of the province. Yeah, with that, I'll pass it back to Susanna and Ava.
Katie, thank you so much. Thank you very much. It really a huge wealth of resources there available to Saskatchewan companies. So just to reiterate, sort of really take advantage of it. I'd like to give it over to Ava now to talk a bit more about Saskatchewan exporters. Why do we think you need online business development tools? Ava.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a pleasure to join this great panel. And this is a conversation that we often have with companies that are getting to know IBT Online and beginning to also endeavor to, grow in their exporting journey. So, of course, that looks different to every single company, but the value of exporting, the value of, growing your business in different target markets is undeniable. So I just wanted to start off quickly with an overview of the amazing benefits of exporting for companies. And this doesn't only mean, choosing Europe or India as your next market, but also tackling new regions to new audiences that you want to reach. So companies that build a multinational presence through trade and diversification are far more profitable long term. They are more stable and more resilient than companies that don't. And this means that they can, growing in different regions means that they can have access to innovation and talent and thought leadership and even grow through economies of scale. So companies that are beginning their journey or already on their journey to exporting and creating a footprint means that they have a better chance of competing and being really competitive against their competition and standing out in the market in the future, being more resilient long term and enjoying the diversification, which means that you meet new partners, you meet new clients, and you build new long-term sales pipelines. So it really is a huge benefit. It's an obvious benefit that so many companies are seeing today. And we'll get into the nitty-gritty, but export growth, sales growth, brand growth, and business growth, and this is what IBT Online does specialize in. This is the hallmark of our company, of what we try and achieve for all of our clients, and it's a no-brainer for today for companies that want to grow long-term and develop new sales pipelines. And why exactly does this happen? Well, let's move on to really what does sales growth look like today and the future of sales, which is clearly it's online, it's digital. As you can see now, just some big numbers, we are 8 billion people on this planet today, and over 5 billion of them, and that is 63%, are all online. So the majority of your partners, your clients, the people that you want to be in touch with to have thought leadership and grow are all online and doing business online. 60% of which means 4.7 billion, are using social media. So the internet today is truly global, and for Canadian exporters, Saskatchewan exporters, this is really great news. In almost all of your target markets, your customers, your prospects, your leads, your future distributors, your future employees, your suppliers, etc., everyone is doing their business and interacting with online platforms. And that means that you can be, in Saskatchewan and interacting daily with your target market, communicating and searching for and providing solutions for your target, your in-persona buyer, your target audience, providing those solutions and those products, speaking to them daily and answering their questions, providing solutions to them in a digital, immediate, 24/7, complete, full transparency online all the time. So it really is an obvious solution for exporters today. As we see, people are not just browsing occasionally as well. The average person spends nearly 7 hours a day online, and two and a half of which are on social media. So thinking about online today and where you need to be and how you need to situate your brand. Of course, there's opportunities like trade shows, and there's opportunities and how are we going to network, how are you going to grow your brand, etc. But being online is first and foremost, creating that digital strategy in order to reach a new market is absolutely essential today in terms of building long-term growth and reaching out to your prospects and your new clients that want to have an interaction with you and want to communicate with you in many different ways. So what exactly does the future of sales look like in order to be competitive in the future, in order to stay top of mind when you're creating an exporting strategy that delivers long-term for your business? Well, the buyer today, the buyer experience has really changed, and today it's dependent on great digital technology and online solutions. So the future of sales, as we see it, and as trends are demonstrating, is a digital-first approach. When evaluating your go-to market strategy, your front and foremost, strategy should be online, engaging with digital solutions. That means that your local buyers in Mexico, your local buyers in, for example, Central America, etc., can find you. Gartner predicts that by 2025, 80% of all interactions in sales will be taking place in the digital world. So it's
Ooh, I think we have a little technical hitch here, Ava. I'm not sure anyone's hearing you anymore.
trend, and it's moving quickly.
Okay.
The omni-channel experience, and what does this mean? So that your channels. Oh, sorry, did I just disappear?
Yeah, but you're back.
What does it mean exactly to have an omni-channel experience? It means that you're offering different channels to your prospect, all of which are connected and creating a great customer experience. So the customers. Sorry, I think my internet is a bit choppy.
It's a bit choppy.
Omni-channel experience means that you're creating multiple online touch points so that your customer can find you on many different channels, which are all connected, creating a great customer experience. So the customer is always looking for a personalized omni-channel experience and giving them options to find you, message you, and communicate with you on different platforms of their choosing. And this is how you create your omni-channel experience. The future of sales is also really customer-centric. It's no longer about the sales pitch. It's all about the customer. You need a customer-first approach. And of course, all three of these trends are really interconnected and depend on one another. For your business to succeed internationally, you need a digital commerce strategy is essential. Your buyer experience depends on the digital technology, on the online solutions. And all of these will work in tandem to create a multi-threaded engagement that acknowledges that the customer journey is not predictable and allows sellers to dynamically engage with the human on the other side. So customers today are expecting a personalized omni-channel experience that they can access to their convenience and in their preferred language. And the world's best sellers are clearly giving it to them. So the answer to the question about the future of sales, it's online. The online world today can help you connect with future clients, employees, and suppliers who are searching online for you in their local online environment. And effective online business development solutions are essential to helping you being found, being understood, and being easy to do business with in your target markets all around the world. Now that we've established the why, and we know that this is essential, you need to give your sales force the right digital tools and the right digital solutions so that they can succeed and you can build out your sales pipeline and have a really global reach.
Ava, thank you very much. And hopefully your internet is now back on fully. That was a great overview, big picture view. First of all, about the importance of going beyond province of Saskatchewan to make sure your business really grows long term. And the second, the importance of harnessing the online world. So I tell you what, before we dive into websites, what they look like today, how they function today, what are the best ones for you, I wanted to ask all of you guys, are you already using websites or your websites and your online marketing to drive your sales? Are you ready? Are you really happy with your online strategies? Are you all good there? Are you happy with it? Are you so I've opened the poll and I love, oh, thank you. You're very quick on the button mark. Thank you, I appreciate that. Quick on the, what do they call, mouse? Most of you voted already, and I'd say most of you are happy, but for Canada only. Yeah, only for Canada is the resounding, the resounding poll winner for this one. And again, I really appreciate that you've all voted. I mean, we've got a huge attendance right there. So I really appreciate that. So that's interesting. So the majority of you, there's a couple of you who are like, we're starting to look at international, but the vast majority are happy only with Canada. I'm going to close that poll, but thank you all very much for participating in that. And then just roll on and let's talk a little bit about sort of the why, sorry, the what now in terms of, the websites. And I wanted to start out with this rather sort of strange diagram here. Went too far. Sorry, this one. I would like to, there we go. Everything on the web is customer-centric, is searcher-centric. And this means that the online tools always have to be searcher-centric. So rather than saying, what would I like my clients to see? What would I like my brand to be? How would I like how do I reach out to my customers? Think the other way around. Take the point of view of your customer first. Say, how does my customer search? How do they find me? What do they do? What are they looking at? What are their problems? What are their pain points? And that means that reversal, that switching to being more customer-centric rather than company-centric will help you understand and make sure that your online tools work well for you, both for your website and for your online marketing. It's taking the customer's point of view, the searcher's point of view in each case. And then it follows very logically that if that's the case, then you can't just use your Saskatchewan website to reach Quebec, let alone Japan, let alone Germany or Colombia. And the reason really is that the way this internet is structured and particularly organized with search engines are YouTube, Amazon is a search engine basically, and obviously Google You'll see that I've taken a screenshot here of Google Mexico, Google UK, Google Argentina. Think of Google as different Googles. Google Canada is different from Google USA, even if it's in the same language. Google Canada is saying, what is relevant for the searcher in my Canada area here? The person typing in me is based in Saskatchewan somewhere, in Moose Jaw, wherever. They're using Canadian spelling, they're using Canadian references. I'm going to give them things that are hosted locally, that are near them. So in order for you, Saskatchewan exporter, to be found in Montreal or Mexico City, you need to be relevant to those places. You need Google to recognize you as relevant in those places. And that is why you cannot just use one website, your Saskatchewan website, to go global. Here's a really silly example, okay? So typically in a webinar, my dog starts barking. I'm at home, my dog starts barking, always in the webinar. She's out in the garden now, but okay. So in Halifax, if you go to Google and put in squeakless dog toys, you're going to get things like bustle.com, gladdogsnation.com, healthy home treats, dogtreats.com, and things like that. In London, Google in English, squeakless dog toys gets you amazon.co.uk, bustle.com also, but lords and labradors.co.uk, I mean, different search results. Because Google recognizes where you are and what is relevant for you. So it sees that you want to be paying, you probably want to pay in pounds, you probably want to pay in Canadian dollars. You probably want something that you can order fast and have the next day delivery. Therefore, it's UK centric. Okay, so that's just a silly example. Same Google, same language, different results depending on where you are. This has to do with buyer personas. Ava, do you want to talk us through buyer persona?
Absolutely. So the international buyer persona is really important to know that it'll be different to your domestic buyer persona. And it's really important when you're beginning, or even when you're beginning your exporting strategy, or you're developing new exporting strategies to reach new markets, that you understand and really do some background research into what your international buyer persona looks like, depending on the market that you're trying to enter. And you need to ask yourself some great questions, like, for example, are there multiple buyer personas in my export markets? What type of buyer persona am I going to be targeting? It's very it's very interesting to look at a case study like L'Oréal. L'Oréal is frequently cited for how spot on they are with their international marketing, and they adapt their websites, they adapt their digital strategies to speak to their target audience and to speak to their international buyer in the best possible way. So as we can see from this image, L'Oréal USA, of course the language is in English. It's corporate, it's high functioning. There's women here at the table. Women are on the top floor of the building. They're empowered, they're in charge. All these elements that go in and speak to the language that what American buyer persona wants to see. And this is how great they are at adapting it. And then as another example, we have L'Oréal in Mexico. And it's fascinating to see the difference here, but of course it's, some obvious ones are it's Spanish, it is more family orientated, more community, it's all about gathering around. It is once again also corporate, of course, and business savvy, but it has a much more familiar dynamic to it and joyful dynamic to it. So as we can see from these examples, each buyer persona is clearly different, and the messaging that the company does is respectful to that. Chile is another great example, L'Oréal Chile, and it looks very eco-friendly. The colors are different. The colors are quite interesting compared to the ones in the USA, for example. But they have quite an environmental stance here. But it's fascinating to see this example, and it's something that the companies that are, you know, that are really seeking to change and adapt to their international buyer persona are the ones that are going to resonate more within the target audience and have a better approach, speak faster and speak more personally to their target international buyer persona, and therefore sell more. So,
okay. Yeah, thank you, Ava. That's a great example. I guess we wanted to summarize then. So I guess we want to summarize to say going global means also going local. And it doesn't necessarily mean a lot of changes. It can be subtle, like just the header image is in the case of L'Oreal. But in fact, what you're doing is not about language. Language is just like the frosting on the cake. It doesn't, I mean, if you just change the language, you have your Saskatchewan website, you stick a couple of Spanish pages on it, you're not going to be relevant to someone in Mexico. You actually have to have a different website, which is hosted optimally, perhaps have different imagery. I'm sure it'll have a WhatsApp number rather than a telephone number. You'll have lots of other things to it. It'll sort of, you know, as I said, they have the right CMS platform, they have different regulatory requirements. There are 10 criteria that I'm listing on this slide that make up what a localized website is. But the big headline is that it's relevant to the local buyer, your local buyer persona. And this is actually, I think, more important for companies that are exporters than for companies who only stay in their domestic, smaller market. I wanted to give you an example of this. This is a company called Mountain States Oilseeds. They're just across the border from you, although a little bit further west, they're in Idaho. And they make, they're one of the largest safflower. They do mustard seed, you know, big agricultural co-op company. This is screenshots of their US website. It is not really very functional. It looks very outdated, very old-fashioned. It was actually built by the dad who started the company. He's a lovely man, and they're going to keep it. As they say, our US, our buyers, you know, our US companies, our domestic market already knows us. They know us. They don't actually look at our website. They don't need to look at our website. They know us. That's our core business. But if someone doesn't know us and they come to our US website, we'll be embarrassed. You know, and the only people who's going to come to us are our international buyers. They're the ones who don't know us. So if we're going to go international, we want to have a really good website that shows our brand, that shows off our values, that is modern, that is easily navigatable, and so on. So we redesigned their international website for them. And in fact, this is their it's a UK website here, as you can see. There we go. And it starts off with a video here, and there are different, I've taken screenshots of different pages for there, and it has a more modern feel to it. And the point is that this is a company that said, you know, we need a strong international website because that's how people are going to find us. If people are looking for a top mustard seed supplier, then they will look here. They're not going to find us on our US website. And that's why they did these international websites. We also did one for Japan, and that's another story. So I just wanted to give you this feeling of saying, you know, the one side, your US web, your domestic, your Saskatchewan website, you know, that might be good for what you've got so far. But when someone outside your existing, when you grow your business, when someone outside your existing client base, they are going to spend time on your website. So that's why your international, your websites that you use for growth, they have to work hard for you, and they have to be really spot on because people will check you out on your website. So my takeaway number 2, if Ava gave that takeaway number 1, which was the world is online, takeaway number 2 is make sure your websites are working hard for you because they are your best sales rep. They're up there 24/7. They are the first place that your prospective buyers are going to come to. They're going to come and check out your website. They're going to look at the About Us page and the product page, and they're going to go on and zigzag all around, and probably not contact you the first time, check you out on LinkedIn, all kinds of things. That's how you get information these days. You look at someone's website. So when you're looking to grow your business, you need to make sure that your websites are really spot on, are really good for that. Right, now let's talk a little bit more then about how do you engage with your buyers and your prospective buyers. Maybe before I do that, I tell you what, we'll save the poll for a little bit later. We'll go with the flow. So now we've got the website. The world is competitive. Ava gave you those numbers, about 8 billion, 5 billion of them are online, like 7 hours a day. The internet is a competitive place. You probably need some online marketing. Why do people do online marketing? They do online marketing in order to create events, because events drive the buyer's journey. Every time you reach out and have an event with a prospective client, you move them along a journey, which hopefully ends up with a purchase from you. So that's what it all looks very nice and neat: awareness, consideration, evaluation, and purchase. It's not usually quite so neat as that, but otherwise that's what we talk about, a buyer's life cycle. And the events, the online marketing helps create those events. Think of when you go to a trade show. That's a very physical event, and that drives the buyer's journey during that trade show along the route. So that's really why one does online marketing. It's to reach the right people at the right message at the right time. And online marketing takes all kinds of different forms and abilities here. And here we're just giving you some examples of some videos, which are incredibly impactful. If you're looking for one thing to do, try videos. Shouldn't be too expensive. Should be great engagement. It is really good thing to have on your website, especially if you're going internationally, because guess what? The language helps. I mean, it doesn't matter. The language barrier is less when you're on a video. So invest in, if there's one thing you want to do on online marketing, it's make sure you have good, strong videos on it. I wanted also to give you an example. Again, Ava gave you an example about a buyer persona and how they differ in different markets. I want to give you an example, a real example of social media engagement in Mexico versus Canada. And this dates from about 2 years ago, but it's still very relevant, we find today. So this is Facebook ads using pretty well, very, very similar, obviously at the same time, same product. Obviously one was, localized for Mexico, the other one was in Canada. And actually we were very pleased with our Canadian results of over 1,000 engagements. We were like, whoa, that's pretty good, because Canada usually, they're pretty cautious. So we were really pleased with that. Blown away by what happened in Mexico. 20,000 engagements, massive, huge. But what about conversion? So that's engagements are all the things like and share and applause and all this other thing. That's the engagement. Then what you have to do is measure also the conversions. How many of those changed into actual sales? And what's interesting is that the sales, which is the yellow and the green bars, are almost the same in Canada and in Mexico. So that tells us that the buyer in Mexico, your prospective buyer in Mexico, needs nearly, up to 20 times more engagement level to get the same level of conversions, so that the Mexican buyer engages easily, but the conversion is harder. Okay, so that's a different buyer's journey, and you would have a different strategy for those different markets, depending on that. Different objectives means different goals. And one of the big things that any marketeer will tell you is that you need to line up the business objective with what you're doing. You know, I really want to grow my brand. Therefore, I need to have a lot of awareness. I really want to, you know, improve customer retention. Then I need to dedicate things to my customers. So I have testimonials and all kinds of social listening going on. But you can have the same platform, just make sure that they're always aligned with your business objectives. Ava, why don't you talk a little bit about marketing as well?
Of course, definitely. Well, digital marketing requires a very structured approach to ensure that you're always reaching the right people, your right buyer persona with the right message at the right time. And that means having a structured online marketing approach. As seen in the example that Susanna talked about with Mexico and Canada, we know that social media is really important to boost engagement with your content, to reach your target audience and create new points of entry and new points of contact for your target audience to engage with you. Social media is also really important, for example, if you have upcoming trade shows and events to attend. And these are also different moments where you can reach your prospects, of course. Social media is a moment to situate your company and your products within the field that you work in and stand out for your craft and your expertise. So how do you stand out in the crowd? Well, this is an example of a company that we work with called Pettibone, and we deliver for them a targeted marketing approach geared to support their long-term business sales in the Middle Eastern region. They have a lot of conferences and trade shows that they want to attend in the region, and we support them with strategic digital marketing campaigns. So of course, each target market is different and will operate differently, as Susanna demonstrated with Canada and Mexico. But nonetheless, the marketing is the opportunity to build your broader brand awareness across the market, boost engagement with your brand and products, and then direct that international buyer persona to come back and read more, learn more, make a sale on your website. So the important thing is to be creating content that is relevant, that is on topic, and that demonstrates your value, that demonstrates your expertise in the field and your unique, your unique craft, your unique selling point.
Perfect, thank you very much. Right, we're going to now talk about online tools and strategies. Before that, though, I'm going to launch another poll. I just wanted to know if any of you would like to learn more about websites and online marketing. We'd be happy to send you information. We'd be happy to send you, blogs or whatever. We could send you some links to learn more about it if that's of interest to you. And again, thank you very much for clicking on the buttons that you're very good at doing. So we appreciate that very much. So we can, as I said, we will send you some data or ask you a bit more about what you want. And thank you, very responsive, great Saskatchewan audience that you are. All right, I'm going to close the poll. There we go. Now let's talk about strategies, about return on investment, and get back to that word about objectives as well. And the idea of return on investment, and one of the best parts of return on investment is obviously e-commerce. It is, that's where you can really measure fast return on investment. And one of the things that we really like about e-commerce is you can make a tiny change and see the impact of it very quickly. So you make a tiny change to say, is it better, or and adjust, and it's there right away in the numbers. So as we were thinking as well, Saskatchewan, you have so many resources in Saskatchewan and such a strong province, but how do you reach that global world? Surely Saskatchewan exporters are the ones who most should be embracing the online world and e-commerce. So when you think about e-commerce, I don't want you to think about sort of like, just buying shoes and jewelry online, makeup online. E-commerce is much broader than that. E-commerce is B2C, but it's also B2B. B2B is about 3 times the size of B2C. And it is just similar to Ava's remarks at the beginning, it is absolutely global. So this graph, which is impossible to read on your screens, shows you the weekly online purchases across the world. And the white bar is worldwide, where it says 58%. And the red arrow there is Canada at 51%. And let's say you wanted to go to Singapore. Well, that's 63%. 63% of internet users in Singapore go online and buy online at least once a week. You know, this slide just shows you another way of saying the same thing. I mean, the pandemic had this huge boost effect. It's that growth rate in e-commerce has now stabilized, but it's stabilized at a whole other plateau. So, you know, and as Ava was talking about, those 5 billion internet users, 4 out of 5 of them shop online. So again, this, you know, for Saskatchewan exporters, this is great news. You know where your buyers are. They're online. So, you know, the basic, it's too big a topic to delve down into all the possible strategies. There's basically 2 decisions, you know, one decision you want to do. Do you do all the e-commerce in-house, or do you do it out-house, or a little bit of a combination? And I can dive into the pros and cons of each one, and show you examples of each one of those things. But in each case, even if you have fully, you know, Amazon or fully Shopify, whatever, in each case, you will need a great website and you will need online marketing for your e-commerce solutions. I wanted to walk you through a few possible examples, because it doesn't have to be a huge company. This is an absolutely lovely company called Aquanaka, or Nothing Cleaner, where we rebuilt they're based in the middle of nowhere, northern Nova Scotia, and they make amazing cleaning products. And for them, being in Nova Scotia, they wanted to branch out, and for them to export meant going to Quebec and having a French website. So on one side, you've got their English language Canadian website. On the other side, you've got their French Canadian website, because they identified really Quebec as probably their second largest market after the Atlantic provinces. And it's a small company, but they are now using their website in a really, really dynamic way to supply stores, to sell online, and to reach wholesalers as well. So really, a really lovely example. And there's actually even a testimonial from Lindsay in the picture in the bottom with the little girl. That's Lindsay's daughter. So, you know, it can be a very local experience. It can be a very small company with a very local experience on that. So just as an example of, you know, an Atlantic province company saying exporting for us means Quebec. And so we don't have so we got them a really good English language and now a French Canadian language one as well. And I think the point, again, that we're making again and again is about this going local, this feeling of locality within websites and within online marketing. And it's a strange sort of dichotomy. At the one side, you're like, well, the world online is all on the internet. On the same side, it's very, very localized. It's implanted in the local community. And here's a couple of major things that you want to think about if you are thinking about going on e-commerce. You know, things like shipping and order fulfillments, paying, pricing, compliance regulations. Those are the big topics on e-commerce, especially if you're going B2C. We find, in fact, because there's really, it is not just very competitive, but there's actually almost more things you need to do than with a B2B. So this is an example of a company, obviously a lovely company, and they make grill toppers. They're the original grill topper maker. And again, it's a family-run company, and very much a B2C experience. The importance for them was to get across their brand that this sense of community, this sense of, you know, we're not just something that makes grill toppers. We are invested in it. Here we are, where it's about the barbecue, the outdoor life, and so on, so that their website reflected that completely. So yes, you can find their grilled poppers in I don't know, Walmart or something, but they wanted to maintain a strong brand with that possibility of e-commerce. So that's on the B2C side. I think what's interesting is that we're seeing more and more companies go B2B, basically having an e-commerce site. It might not always have a payment gateway. So this is an example of a company. They sell printer stacks and like equipment for electricians to construction companies. So they'll sell, 50 of these plier things and things, or welding tools, or the black max, the belts and accessories, 50 at a time to construction companies and to so it is structured like an e-commerce site without the payment gateway. So it's what's called an order builder, and it ends with a request to quote. So the client or the prospective client picks and chooses what they want and sends in, give me a quote for this. How much is this worth? How much do I have to do here? And then gets a response from the company for that. I think that's quite something we're seeing again and again for e-commerce, for B2B e-commerce companies. So worth bearing in mind. And more clients, prospective buyers are demanding this kind of thing from B2B companies. And the third example I wanted to give you was just about generating e-commerce leads for local distributors. So again, this is something you can do with your website, taking your website, generating the leads through the online marketing, and then your local distributor, your local agent, actually does the fulfillment part of it. So again, there could be a basket or a shopping cart at the end, but in each case, the fulfillment and where you're going towards is your local agent. So you stay in charge of your brand, you stay in charge of the product, you stay in charge of the marketing. Your distributor is there on the ground for after sales, for order fulfillment, for dealing with direct delivery, any fiscal rep, VAT or duties that have to be paid and so on. So that's a really, really neat way as well of pushing forward your business, is using the websites to generate leads for your local distributors, and that's something we see a lot of as well. So our final takeaway is really, going global means going local. It means empowering the local buyer who's going to look online for you to really go and find you, and it takes a lot really to buy something online. It takes a lot of trust. And how do you build that trust? You build it by saying to their company, your prospective buyer, we know how to service you well. We know how to get our product to you. Our product is right for you. It works in your environment. It works in your market. And how does a person know that except through your websites? And that it takes quite something. So that's where that localization really comes in. So takeaways, next steps, Q&A. Our takeaways. First of all, as Ava was saying, why do Saskatchewan exporters need online business development tools? They need them because the world is online. Your prospective buyers, your prospective distributors are all online, and they will search for you online, and they will check you out, and they will form an opinion of your brand through your website and your online footprint. So make sure that your websites, your online marketing strategies, your LinkedIn profiles, all of that, make sure your online footprint, your digital footprint is good, is fit for purpose, is doing its job, working hard. And with that, takeaway number two is that your website is your best sales rep. It's got to be. It's the one that people will check you out on. Remember that example of Mountain States All Seeds with the US one? They said, well, our US clients, they know that. Nobody goes there. But if we're going to grow, then we have new clients. And new clients check us out on our website. And that's why we need a really good performing, high performing website. So make sure they're working hard for you, that you're using them effectively. And again, just that sort of recap, a really good website is relevant to your local buyer, not just the language. The language is easy. It's all that goes behind it: the domain names, the mobile enablement, the design adapting, the right CMS platform to build it on, all the tech side that goes with it. So make sure that your website is really relevant to your local buyer. As Ava was saying, online marketing means reaching the right people with the right message at the right time. So you're not bothering people who don't want to hear from you. That's really off-putting. You're reaching them when they are wanting to be reached and how they're wanting to be reached. Okay, so that's really important to structure your online marketing approach correctly. And I guess my last one was just, again, this reiteration. Going global means going local in everything that ways. We do have these online global programs. I tell you what, you're also good at these polls. I'm gonna do another one. You're very good at polls, so we're gonna do another poll. So if you'd like to learn more about the Saskatchewan online global programs, let us know. We can then put you in touch. We can, and Katie will put you in touch, so we can figure it out for you, or send you links again, and so on. And again, thank you very much for all those wonderful clicks and things. You're really terrific to work with. So we're really enjoying this webinar. Thank you very much. I'm fast on the mouse. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna close that one. We've got a ton of stuff on our website, by the way, resources. It's IBT.ONL, which we think is a really cool URL, by the way. Anyway, if you go to the resources section, there's lots of downloadables for free about online marketing, about markets, about, when you say, oh, I really want to go to South Korea. Well, we've got something on South Korea. So there's a lot on there. So browse around, and download whatever you like for free. Right. I've certainly talked a lot. I'm gonna question time. We've got a couple of questions in, and okay, I'm gonna Ava, how about you answer this one? How long do your websites take to build?
Our online global programs are really designed to be fast and furious so that we can help our clients achieve their exporting objectives really quickly. So our 3 months in total is our website building program, whether that's website redesign completely, e-commerce websites, or localized websites in China, Mexico, India, etc., or the Quebec French-speaking region. So 3 months is our time.
Thank you, Ava. And Ava, there's a slightly related one. I don't know if what about the time commitment from the company, from us? I don't know if you want to answer that, or throw that back my way, whatever you want.
Absolutely. I think time commitment is, I'm not 100% sure of the hours there, but it's mostly a few hours in the beginning when the client has to provide content, and we do.
Ava, I think your audio. Ava, your audio is out.
As much as possible, get content from the client that's like videos and photos that are really useful, understanding them in one side.
Oh gosh, there's an example, a question here from Shane. You've shown some great examples. Can you please touch on some of the annual costs of those examples? I've seen 20,000K, 200,000K. Oh, wow, 200,000K. Could you show us where that is? I'm going to take this one, Eva, if that's okay with you. We build very good websites. We live on our reputation. So our websites are really, well, you know, we have to make sure they're good. So we are not cheap. I mean, you could probably get most 15-year-olds to build you a Wix, you know, templated email website. It won't last and it won't be good. So you need to actually have some minimum investment in it. But and the cost just depends also on how many bells and whistles you're going to have. You know, do you want to have a separate login area? Is there a secure zone? Are there ERP plugins that monitor your inventory control and all the rest of it, and that link to your Salesforce or your HubSpot? All of that can be factored in. We have never built a website for 200,000 It's like take a zero off. We're on the 20K side, if that. So it really depends on the specs, but I don't think we've ever addressed something like that. We have built, I mean, I think on the online global, of the examples that I've shown you, let's see if any of them are public. Yeah, I can tell you that Aquanaca one, the Canadian one, that was 16,000 Canadian dollars for a website redesign and e-commerce functionality in French. So does that give you a good idea? Oh, Ava's put something in the chat box as well about there's a page on our website dedicated to Saskatchewan. Ava, do you want to drop that into the chat box for everybody? In fact, that might be useful.
Yes,
Another
absolutely.
question.
I just want to say,
Yeah,
sorry, I just wanted to say that the prices are transparent on this page as well. If anybody wanted to go find out the prices of the website redesign or e-commerce, it's all on the page and transparently there.
right. Okay. Another question is about a localized website. Is it better to be hosted in the other country, or can it be hosted from Saskatchewan? Great question. It has, in order to have fast up and download speeds, you need to be hosted optimally. Now, most serious hosting companies will have something called a global content delivery network. So they don't necessarily, let's say you want to have a website in Japan. They probably have a server in Japan, and that's where it should be hosted. Because one of the big things for Google is, where is it hosted? If you say, okay, I have Japan and I have South Korea, if they just host it in Japan, that's also okay, because they'll have something called a global content delivery network as well, which will make it seem like it's hosted in South Korea. Sorry, it's a slightly fuzzy answer, but in order to be localized, don't host it in Saskatchewan. For that. Okay, there's a couple other questions coming in. Katie, with regards to the resources for STEP, can you talk about the resources for the websites for STEP?
Sure, yeah, so a majority of our resources are for trade programs and trade missions, but I'd be happy to chat one-on-one if there's any more specific details. We do have funding programs available for sustainability efforts. So we have resources available for hiring consultants for sustainability efforts in terms of market research and so on. But yeah, reach out to me directly and we can have a conversation one-on-one in terms of what the funding typically includes. But for STEP right now, our funding is mainly for export programs. But I am aware of other government, Canadian global affairs and trade programs that do support like digital aspects and digital resources for exporting. So yeah, happy to chat one-on-one with these details.
Okay. I think take it offline and chat one-on-one. There's a couple of other questions coming in about that.
Sure.
Just so you're aware, and we'll pass those questions and those contacts to you right afterwards. Sorry, I'm sort of reading this at the same time. Another question I have: once you build the website, who looks after the website? good question. Who looks after your website after you build it? Please always keep your websites. Don't give your URL to your distributor. Don't give ownership of your websites. Your digital real estate is a very strong asset. Don't hand things over to other companies. However, just managing the website can be tricky. There's two aspects to it. One, you've got to manage the technical aspect. All those plugins have to be updated. The SSL certificate that goes down every 3 months. So it's not private, it's not encrypted. All of that takes time and effort and knowledge. And a lot of companies, including us, manage company websites for them. I think our fee is, I can't remember what it is, $50 a month, $60 a month, something like that, to manage. And we manage all the technical aspects, making sure the website's up, secure, updated, and so on, and that that is all working well. So once it's live, it needs to be nurtured. It needs to be looked after always, both for the content side of it and the technical side of it. The content side of it, again, you should have a direct involvement in it. Don't let your distributors take over that completely, and don't let them have ownership of your brand. You can build a website in order to generate leads for your distributor, but don't hand them the website, because that is a very, very valuable asset. I hope I've answered the question. I do recognize that it's on the hour and we're going over the hour. We've got a couple more questions in, but I think what we do is just answer you by email indirectly and put you in touch with Katie when that was necessary. I wanted to say a big thank you to Katie for joining us today, for helping us set this up and reaching out to Saskatchewan exporters. Ava, thank you so much for your insights and for all the support you give the Canadian companies. Ava's based in Montreal, but is desperate to come out and visit Saskatchewan. So we'd love to do that. And most of all, thank you all very, very much indeed. Really appreciate your comments, your involvement, and we hope that we brought some thoughts about your online side as well. Thank you all very much. We hope to see you online and offline soon. Thank you all. Bye-bye, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.